and I'm your host for The Loving Cup, Elevate Your Gratitude podcast, and I'm live from the FingerLakes1.com studios in Seneca Falls, New York. Today is Friday, April 27th, and welcome. So before we jump in, I wanted to share today a quote from Gandhi, where he says, "May the work of your hands be a sign of gratitude and reverence to the human condition." And today we have Rhonda Jasper and Rose Giovannini from the United Way of Seneca County, and I think the work you do is very important for the community, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Glad that you're here. So let's start by having each of you introduce the other. So who would like to go first?
Well, I think I will go first.
Okay.
Because I'm older. Okay. Rhonda does remember the 80s. She was there for almost all of it. Not quite all of it, but of note, she was actually living in Seoul, South Korea for part of her kindergarten year. And so that's where she was in 1988.
No, 85.
No, 85, but in the 80s.
Cool.
She graduated from SUNY New Paltz. And she has a degree in theater and technical design, but she's not, other than public theater, she is not an actress. And other than what she does at the office, which is kind of theatrical at times. She, of course, now is at United Way. She's had actually a lot of experience in different places, though. I mean, she was with Glove House, she was with the county, she was with the executive director of House of Concern, and we did steal her from House of Concern.
Publicly admitting it now.
So sometimes we do feel bad about that, but not very often. So
Well, it gave an opportunity for them to get a new director.
Yes.
So.
And she has a 5-year-old daughter, Anna,
Mm-hmm.
and Anna is in preschool, but she'll be going full-time to kindergarten in the fall, and that will be quite a change for both, all of us. Well, basically for Rhonda and her mother, Chris, who is Anna's caregiver while Rhonda works. So, and that's about it.
Awesome. And would you introduce us to Rose?
I would love to. So Rose grew up in Waterloo and left for a little bit, but came back and is now in Seneca Falls and has settled. In the 80s, she was busy raising 2 daughters and working at the county herself. And we found that we actually have a lot in common when we go back. It's interesting. So she married Massimo in, let me check my cheat sheet, 1984. See, there we go. And then in 2012, she joined the United Way of Seneca County, actually part-time, doing as an office assistant. And in 2013, they realized how valuable she was and bumped her to full-time as operations manager. And then when I joined in 16, she unofficially, and unbeknownst to her, took on the job of my handler to keep me in line and on time for things like this. So she definitely has had some big bumps in her career in the last couple of years.
Awesome. So for our guests, you may have heard some references to the 80s. So we are going to be talking a little bit about Taste of Spring and back to the 80s theme.
Yes,
so
yes.
You'll see some 80s things sprinkled in here and there. So you can enjoy that. So let's talk about gratitude. And if you can share with me something from the past year that you're most grateful for.
I'll go.
Okay.
I am so incredibly grateful for my role at the United Way. I'm very fortunate, and I realize how fortunate I am to have one of those jobs where I love going to work every day, and it doesn't feel like work. To be able to have this kind of role and these kind of connections in the place that I call home, where I'm raising my daughter, it's invaluable, and we have such a fantastic team that I get to be part of every day, not only with the ladies at the office, but the board and our volunteers and all of the partners we work with throughout the community. I mean, I know, Katie, our paths crossed a couple times, and I mean, I just get to work with everyone. It's absolutely fantastic. So I look forward to getting up and going to work every day.
That's awesome.
Well, actually, I don't mean to echo what Rhonda's saying, but I have to say that really I am very fortunate and grateful that I love what I do. I love my job. I love working with the public. I love being in a position where we advocate for causes that I feel very deeply about. And I'm also grateful for having continued good health so I can continue to work. So I'm very grateful for that.
Perfect. So what about if you think about your whole life? Is there something that comes to the top that you're most grateful for?
I'd have to say family and friends, having a fantastic support system no matter what I was going through. I'm very close. I was very close with my parents before my father passed away. My mom is I joke about co-parenting with her because she's Anna's grandma, but I don't know what I'd do without her. And we've just become a very, very close-knit family. I have friends who have become family. I have coworkers who have become family, and I don't know what I would do without that web of people.
Awesome.
Again,
You're gonna copy me?
I know, I'm going to copy her again. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing in all of our lives is it starts with family and friends. I have a lot of people in my life that have been there for me when I was growing up. I have a very good friend, Peggy, and her mother, Dorothy, who kind of took on the role of, I came from a family of a lot of children. So a lot of times we didn't all get the attention that we probably needed at the time or whatever. So they became like family to me too. So I have that second family, and I'm very close to them. Dorothy has since passed away. My mom and dad have passed away. So, but I feel like very fortunate that my husband's family is also very loving. I have the greatest mother-in-law in the whole world. And so I'm very grateful for family and friends.
Awesome. That's super. So what about, what are you most grateful for in each other or in the other?
Would you like to go first this time?
I don't know.
Because then I'll copy you. No. I have to say, it goes for Rose and Connie and Nancy, all the ladies in the office. We have, when you take 4 strong female personalities and put them in a very small area with very tight deadlines, anything can happen. So we're very fortunate that we get along very, very well. Rose and I have clicked. We got to spend a lot of time together doing projects because I jumped in the middle of campaign, and there's a lot of visiting to be done when you are stamping and licking and sealing 500, 600, 700 letters. So we got to know each other pretty quick, which was nice. And like I said, we've got a lot in common, and we've become very good friends. And it's always nice to get along with the people you work with. We're there to do a job, and that's the bottom line. But when you can call your coworkers and your team family, and I would call all of them very close friends now and family, then it just makes everything, what it is. So Rose has supported me personally and professionally since my first days. We do joke about her being my handler, but I do occasionally need the reminder of, hey, doesn't your calendar say pick up Anna today? Because it's not a usual thing. Or, she's very good at, if we both have to remember something, one of us will, and we work very, very well together. So I appreciate her being the other half of my brain when I need it, and the whole brain some days, I'll admit it. And for keeping us all on track in the office and keeping all of the details together so that we all can focus on what we need to.
Well, thank you. And, the thing I really found out about Rhonda right from the start was just how easy she is to work with. I really thought that there was going to be that generational type of gap because she's young enough to be my daughter. Let's be frank about this, and so for that reason, I really thought that there would be like different areas where we went and clicked together. But I really found her to be very easy to work with. She's actually is the best boss I've ever had. She's
awesome.
Great. Yeah, she's great as executive director. She's very creative, and so a lot of times I was finding that I would go to her and say, okay, the annual reports come due again. Do we have to do the same old thing? I don't want to do the same old thing. I'm sick of the same old thing. And she would say, okay, well, what do you see, or what do you think we should do, or what do you want to, and so then I throw out ideas, and she takes them ball and she carries it, and she's so good at that. And actually she designed everything except that 80s thing right there, but she designed a lot of the materials that we're using for the Taste of Spring this year. So that's
awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very cool.
She is very cool.
So good. So is there something that you're grateful for now that at the time you were not grateful for?
I would say probably my mom and the relationship I have with her. I mean, I'm sure that's probably a common answer for a lot of people. When you're a child, you don't understand what your parents go through. And I can't even say it's when I became a parent, because I was older when I had Anna, but you realize how much your parents have done for you and the support that my mom continues to provide me and Anna on a daily basis. Just calling and checking in, or, is calling and, she knows we have the sniffles and she's showing up at the house with chicken soup and that kind of thing. All those parent things. But it's definitely something you don't appreciate until you're older. And I can definitely say I appreciate it a lot more now than I used to.
And I think as I've gotten older, the thing that I used to take for granted, that people live forever and that your health is good forever. But, it got to a point in my life where I don't know, I was probably in my 50s and I started reading about all these people that were dying unexpectedly or, that type of thing. And it just all of a sudden occurred to me that, we're not all going to live forever. And then, I lost my mother, I lost my father, I lost my brother. So, so it happens. So I'm just very grateful for good health. And I don't take it for granted anymore.
No, it's amazing what the just perspective of time and aging, and we get some knowledge as we get older.
Absolutely. So,
all right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about United Way and the community and what you're grateful for from the community, and then talk about the 80s. I was around in the 80s too.
Oh yeah,
I was. Yeah.
So you remember all the details of having to get ready.
I had jellies, and I was telling.
I just won an eBay auction to get jellies for Taste of Spring. I'm so very excited. And the first thing I did was brought them home, and my daughter said, "Oh, those are the most beautiful shoes I've ever seen." So yesterday she got her own little pair of jellies.
How
to match.
Exciting! And are they sparkly or just?
They're sparkly.
Okay.
Yep, they got the sparkles in them, and they're just as uncomfortable as they were in the 80s, and they still have that smell. It's weird.
Yeah, they did have a funny smell, but they were so cool.
It's weird what comes back.
Well, Rhonda is going to be styling them at the Taste of Spring, so.
Yes, I will be wearing them as long as I can.
Yes.
So do you want to jump into Taste of Spring, or you want to talk about United Way and the community?
We can talk about both.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about United Way and the community and frame it around gratitude.
Okay. There is so much to be grateful for in Seneca County. I feel like a broken record when I talk about it, but the connections. And I mean, it's no secret that Seneca County doesn't necessarily have all the financial resources big city counties and whatnot do. However, the people resources we have, the connections, the relationships are something not only unlike what's in more densely populated counties, but even other smaller communities. I find as I do work with other United Ways across the country that the teamwork we have, the communication we have while we're all actively working on it is something that a lot of places, they haven't even started that work. We have a fantastic leadership across the board. There's such exciting things happening in all those tough discussions that we didn't necessarily think we'd have to have in Seneca County. When you start talking about, substance abuse and overdoses and addiction and suicide prevention and human trafficking, these are not the things when I was in school, which wasn't that long ago, we never thought would be even on the table. And now It's happening in our homes and in our communities. And we're a small town, so when something happens, we are very, very reactive. We can show up with a casserole in no time. We can, band together and take care of kids and put a fundraiser together. That's what we do, because even if you don't necessarily know your neighbors that well, we're still a kind of family. And we've had some fantastic community input forums lately where people came out and were very honest and talked about what they want our community to be and where it can improve. And it sounds like everyone is really on board to try to become more proactive and think about how we can support ourselves and each other so that we don't necessarily, I mean, there's always going to be those things that happen, but really to be proactive as a community, I mean, I think that's an exciting conversation that's really just starting.
Wonderful. Do you want to add?
No, I would probably just echo everything that she's saying. I mean, seriously. I just find that I mean, we're grateful for every single donation we receive. We're grateful for the great partners that we partner with, the agencies that we get to partner with, and just the types of things that people come to us with, and we find a solution for most of their problems. I mean, it might not always be a monetary solution, but it could be arranging something that Rhonda arranged last week that we're not talking about because it's secret and whatever. But she was able to put something together so that a family could continue to reside in their home. So
it's important.
That's a pretty big thing. And they had grandchildren to raise, so that is a very big thing. So anyway.
And it's
with community support, of course.
Right. I was going to say, for not providing direct service ourselves, to be able to work at the level where we actually get to see and help be part of systematic changes is exciting. Yeah. Because when you make changes locally, I mean, we can't change any of the big systems overnight, and we know that. But we certainly can focus on our little corner of the world and make it a little comfier. And so to be able to change the local systems, to be able to have the connections to say, hey, I heard this was happening, or so-and-so is talking about this, have you heard of that? And get those conversations going. Suicide Prevention Coalition is a perfect example. Hearing it from both sides that we needed this, and so we were able to get people around the table, and we said, this isn't ours, this is not our specialty, we need someone to head it up. And it ended up being this fantastic community-based organization that is now under our umbrella, but it's the community that runs it, and it's so exciting. I've never seen a steering committee with so many people on it. No one wants to be on steering committees, and they're like we had to move. We needed bigger space because I mean the coalition just overtook our big meeting space, and to see that kind of energy focusing on little Seneca County, which is home, is what keeps us going. And, as Rose said, every donation matters. A quarter, 50 cents, it makes a huge difference because when you pool it with everyone else's, it whether it goes to one of our funded partners or it goes to a community initiative, that's what's making changes. And, we talk about Seneca County not being a financially, resourceful community necessarily, but every little bit does help. Mm-hmm. And while we have so many fantastic agencies and nonprofits working on very important mission work at the United Way, because we're not doing that day-to-day direct service, we have a little more time to try to reach out and get to people. We would love to involve more community members across the county. There's only a small percentage that support programs, and I truly believe it's because either someone feels like they might not be able to make it, or they don't know what's going on, or they don't know it's an issue. And so if we can really focus on getting that information out, it's going to benefit all of us. Mm-hmm. And we have a fantastic working board. We have a fantastic campaign team that's really putting their heads together and figuring out how do we get, the kids to collect quarters every week and make a difference? How do we get these, and just figuring out a way that everyone who wants to can help. Because there's lots of ways you can help without writing a check.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's, I think that ever since I started working full-time, I've always had the chance with my employer to give to the United Way in the area I was living, and they make it very easy. They can take it right out of your paycheck.
Don't even miss it.
It's very easy. But for folks who maybe aren't able to do that, they can donate directly to you, and I think there's a donate option right on your website, right?
There is, through PayPal. Okay. And when I had started, like I said, I started right around campaign time. So I started, Karen Beals was fantastic. And of course, everyone knows her and helped with the transition. But she had a trip to Italy and had done her time. And it was middle of campaign. And so they handed me a PowerPoint and said, here, go do a campaign presentation.
I remember.
And you might have been there. And people are like, what does United Way do? And I was like, let's watch the PowerPoint and trying to learn. So I feel definitely a lot more prepared as I went through my second campaign and now approaching the third. But when I started, they said that 1 in 4 people in Seneca County was touched by United Way services in some way. And I have to be honest, I have no idea how that number happens, and I don't know how to recreate that number. But I can tell you that since I've started with the increase of the Fill the Bus School Supply Drive, which supports all 4 districts, with the Seneca County Suicide Prevention Coalition, we now have funded partners that literally support our residents from their first days to their last. I would say it would probably be difficult to find someone who isn't immediately or one step away from United Way in one way or another, whether it's something they receive or a service they receive directly or someone they love or in their home. Mm-hmm. It's amazing the web that is out there of support and help as everyone works together.
It's so important. And Seneca County is a special place. It's, you know, I haven't lived here, but I've worked here, and there's just something very, very special about it. And great people. They're very caring people. Okay. So talk to me about the 80s. What's going on?
They were somehow more than 30 years ago now.
I know.
Everyone's like, are you sure? I was like, we did the math a couple times. Yes. So Taste of Spring is our biggest annual fundraiser. Started in 1988. So this is our 30th anniversary of Taste of Spring. And we decided that you can't ring in 30 years without making it fun and a little different. So while it has been a very successful fundraiser and has brought in over $325,000 that stayed in Seneca County over the last 29 years.
Awesome.
I know, it's exciting, and it all stays here. We decided that we were going to, it kind of started as a joke, I think, talking about an 80s theme, and it took off. As you can see, we are all prepared. We are
I know,
ready
I have to try my glasses on
here. Yes, the invitations. I replaced the sunglasses that normally hold my hair back with. There we go, see. I forgot when I was driving over here that these were not my regular sunglasses, and was like...
Everybody remembers Rubik's Cubes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have...
so fun. I love it. What do you think? It's a pretty good
look. It's a good look. It's a good look.
Great.
Yes. See? And they hold your hair back perfectly, see?
Yes, very nice.
I love it. It's been a lot of fun, reminiscing and hearing stories and all that. But... we have the opportunity to work with Del Lago, which obviously is new in the last 30 years. We had Holiday Inn was our host for 29 years and was wonderful. They're going through some transition now, and so some things up in the air. And Del Lago approached us and said, we'd like to, increase your space, and we've outgrown it. So. New partnership with Del Lago. We'll be able to use their full ballroom and their new event tent in the back, which we got to see the other day.
It looks beautiful.
Oh, it is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Climate control.
Yes.
Yes. Semi-permanent structure.
Yes.
With amazing floor.
It's like a wood.
Yeah, it's like a dance floor, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is good because we're going to have an 80s DJ with 80s karaoke. So
fun. You picked your song already?
I haven't. We were talking about doing an Office song, but if we do, it'll have to be a surprise that night. We'll see.
You could do like Pointer Sisters or something, right? That's 80s.
Yeah. Well, we do have a couple ideas.
we might practice a little bit even before we knew there was a reason to in the Office.
And they told me that because I'm a 70s girl, I can bring in some late 70s music also. I mean, hopefully people won't know, but...
There was a little whining about it. We had to let her. Yeah. I mean, it was.
Yeah. There's some good music from the 70s.
Absolutely.
But we can't start going into other themes because we started a theme now. We are going to be asking for suggestions for future themes because I'm pretty sure Taste of Spring is now a theme party.
And I did try to do some research last night at the Night Ranger concert.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Actually, Night Ranger was around 35 years ago. They formed. And the lead singer, believe it or not, looked awesome, and he's 64 years old.
Sweet.
Yeah, he looked really good.
So we are all celebrating the 80s. It's fun. We have 50 vendors this year, which is awesome. We had about 30 last year, so that shows the increase.
That's great.
It's about I think it's like 11,000 square foot of Finger Lakes. Everyone's local. All the vendors are local. They all donate the product that they're giving out. We have food and wine and cider and craft beer, sweets, real food. I mean, come hungry for sure. There's going to be raffles, which of course is all local donations, gift certificates for restaurants and golf clubs and gyms and wonderful items that have been donated by people and businesses. Talk about being grateful.
Awesome.
Talk about being grateful. We will have a 80s selfie booth where you will be able to use our props and many others. a costume contest with local celebrity judges and some fantastic 80s prizes. We have a decorating committee that has been out there working their fingers to the bone, figuring out how to turn cassette tapes and slinkies into decorations, and they've got some great stuff to show off. We're so very excited. But yeah, we have a lot of new vendors, a lot of familiar vendors. We even have some familiar vendors that are kind of mentoring new vendors, which is exciting.
Cool.
Continuing to grow that community, and we're looking to just really have a fun time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and all while supporting United Way. So, and showing off the Finger Lakes. We got quite a bit to show off, so it's fun to be part of that.
Yeah, well, 50 vendors, and they're all listed, right?
Actually, we've had more since that poster came out.
Wow.
So that poster is on Facebook and around, and since then we've had Bellwether Cider and Rasta Ranch Vineyards and Weeby Brewing, which is a new company. We've got 3 of the restaurants from Del Lago represented, as well as their catering banquet division. So we've got a lot that's going to be served and enjoyed that evening.
That's awesome. So Rose, can you tell us when it is, what time, where it is, how to get tickets?
It is Thursday, May 3rd, and it's at Del Lago Resort and Casino. It's in the ballroom and the 3-season room. You can get tickets by phoning United Way, 315-539-1135. Or you can go to our website and you can purchase a ticket through PayPal. If you buy 10 or more tickets, they're $30 each. Individually, they're $35 each and $40 at the door.
Okay.
So we encourage people to get the pre-sale tickets and to come with a little bit of cash in hand to possibly do the raffles. We're going to have at least probably 50 raffle items.
Awesome.
So we think it's going to be a fantastic night, and just come and enjoy yourself.
So people should buy tickets because maybe it's going to be sold out?
We're hoping.
Yeah.
Okay.
There
and
is
it's
a
next
limited-
Thursday, so it's coming pretty
Yeah.
quick. So get your tickets.
Yeah, it is a limited
Absolutely.
number of tickets. We can take cards both online and at the door. We can take cards for raffles too. So we're hoping that we'll of course have the supporters because it's United Way and we love them. But we're hoping to bring in some of the people that are visiting Del Lago and teach them why they should be able to come back, because there's so much to offer here. And I know we're excited about trying some of the stuff.
Del Lago's been fantastic to work with.
Great.
And Joelle Murney Karsten. Now we're also working with Molly McKevney, so that she's also a local girl.
Yeah.
It's very important that there's local people employed there. Like Molly has been to Taste of Springs in the past, and so she's familiar with it.
I just met Molly. I've talked to her on the phone before, but I just met her in person. We were judges at the chocolate extravaganza together, which was a really fun volunteer job.
Yes.
We suffered through it.
Yes. Wow, chocolate tasting and modeling. You're really getting out there and
really.
really
You're
branching
branching out
team there.
It's funny. It's good.
See, there are some really fun fundraising opportunities out there, that's for sure.
But
Yes.
it really has been fantastic working with Del Lago, and they've come up with some great ideas themselves for the event, including they're going to be doing a slot tournament that's open only to our guests.
Oh, cool.
So that's going to
that'll
take
happen
place that evening. We think the guests are going to have a good time with it.
Yep.
I've heard buzz around town about it. People are excited. So
Yeah, we're very excited.
Well,
and I can't wait to see photos and see who gets the best costumes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Might be Rhonda. I don't know. It sounds like she's really investing into her.
Oh, I don't know. I've heard some of the plans. I can't top some of the plans that are out there. So we're excited.
We have at least one board member that's on board with the whole 80s thing.
Yeah, I think we'll have more by the time they get there.
But
Awesome.
We're pretty convincing.
That's
and
good.
Rhonda's mother actually has been shopping in the thrift stores for us. And she's really good at costuming people. So she brought in some of her treasures. Actually, this bracelet is one of them.
Sure.
And so anyhow, she's been bringing in some treasures for us to try on
Awesome.
and get in the spirit.
Yeah. So community all the way around.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So anything else that you want to share today before we wrap up?
just thank you for having us.
Yes.
We
Thanks
love
for
talking
coming
about
in.
United Way.
No.
I'm grateful that you were my guest today.
No, we're grateful that you asked us, and it's been fantastic being here
Good.
in this lovely studio.
Isn't it beautiful?
This
It is
studio is
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the whole building looks really nice. They've done a great job.
Yeah.
Well, and it works out well because anyone who goes to the podcast today sees our lovely Taste of Spring poster on Finger Lakes 1 too, because we started our ads this weekend, so people start seeing it more and more. And
Oh, awesome.
Finger Lakes 1 has been a fantastic supporter, and we were just talking about it before we started about the excitement and everything.
Jim Zinacropi is definitely
Yeah.
a supporter of the community.
Oh, certainly. We've got a lot of great sponsors this year. We'll really start pushing them out Monday and getting everyone's logos out there. But if you see, people on the list, thank them. Let them know that they're seen and you met them at Taste of Spring. And I like everyone knowing they're making a difference.
That's awesome. I mean, I just look at this list and you're saving people so many miles and so much time by having all of these vendors. You don't have to drive around the lake to see them. Just come
It's safe
to
all
your
in one
event.
spot.
And it's for people that are coming from outside the area. It's right off the exit 41 of the New York State Thruway.
Conveniently located.
for your wide audience here.
Perfect. All right, well, that does bring us to the end of our time today. So thank you for tuning in, and please do support the United Way and their Taste of Spring event if your schedule allows. And we'll be back on May 11th with 2 more guests. If you or someone you know would be a great guest, please contact me either through Facebook or through thefingerlakes1.com. Contact information on their website. And until then, have a blessed day and share your gratitude.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Didn't play with my slinky though.
It was a lot of fun. Playing with your slinky. Yeah.
I think perhaps your desk probably needs a slinky.